Savor the Bronx. The Bronx very own Restaurant Week has kicked off right here at Seis Vecinos on Prospect Avenue. This delicious 12-day culinary event features discounts and prefix deals at over 40 restaurants in the Bronx. Let's find out a bit more. We are here kicking off Restaurant Week for the Bronx, and I actually wanted to ask you, how many restaurants are we having participating in the next 2 weeks?
We have a record number of restaurants that are participating in this year's annual Savor the Bronx Restaurant Week. We have 45 restaurants, and that's pretty exciting because when we first started this initiative, we had about 21 restaurants. People weren't really getting into the groove of what Restaurant Week was all about. So throughout the years, we've made some noise, and now people are excited about participating. So we have 45 restaurants, really excited about that. It's great, and restaurants from all over the borough, and also various different cuisines.
Why do you think that you saw such a growth between your first year and right now in 2020?
I think that the reason why we're growing is because the Bronx is growing. The Bronx is booming. So that's one reason. Another reason is that people are starting to get to know all about the Bronx. There's an enormous amount of marketing coming out of my office, but also people like yourself and some of the restaurant owners themselves. People are getting to know what the Bronx is all about. All this perception of what the Bronx was is starting to dissipate, and that's a good thing. People are realizing that this is a dynamic borough. It's wonderful, and part of that is also the eateries.
And that's why it's so important for the Bronx to sort of highlight its own, right? You have people who are from the Bronx opening up restaurants here. You have so much of the cuisines that are going to be highlighted for the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
And it's creating a beautiful narrative. So thank you for putting this on for us.
Thank you. No, this is great. It's an honor to do this, and it's an honor to work with these restaurants and Bronxites, and I just love my job.
Awesome. Thank you, Olga.
You're welcome.
I want to put you on the spot right away. So what is your favorite or favorites, right, places to hit up in the Bronx?
Well, I won't answer that question as my favorite because obviously there are so many different restaurants here. A lot of restaurants that people don't know about. So I am what you call a foodie, my wife and I. I exercise just so that I can eat whatever I want. For instance, if you go and get fish tacos at the American Grill on 3rd Avenue,
yes, you
can't go wrong with that. I like the meatballs at Porto Salvo. If you go to Mike's Deli right on Arthur Avenue inside the market, they have, go speak to Dave, and they have the Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. sandwich. Not the Ruben sandwich, the Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. sandwich.
It's a special sandwich.
It's a special sandwich. I love pizza. So if you like sausage pizza, go to Lou and Ernie's. Right? Have you been to Lou?
This man knows what he's talking about.
Man. Or the regular pizza, go to Sal over there on Pugsley's Pizza, right where Fordham University is. If you like Spanish food, it's very difficult for those of us who are Latino because we get Spanish home cooking. So we're always comparing Spanish food to restaurants.
It's so true.
But if you go to Acre's, that's now run by Jimmy Rodriguez, everybody knows Jimmy from the Jimmy's Bronx Cafe.
Yeah.
Over on Commerce, can't get better. Everything from sancocho to rice and beans, it's all happening there. If you like sushi, you don't have to go outside of the Bronx anymore. Go to C-Tings. See Amir and ask him for the sushi bruschetta. Sushi bruschetta. Oh my God.
Awesome.
Out of this world.
Awesome. All right, guys, you got some really good recommendations. I was going to ask you what sets Savor the Bronx apart from other restaurant weeks, but I think you pretty much hit it on the head.
We're from the Boogie Down Bronx. We're better than everybody else. And not only that, a great deal of the participants come from the Bronx. So a lot of times when people see beautiful restaurants or different diversity in cuisine, they always think that maybe it's outsiders coming in. Look at Omar from Monroe House, Jason and Empanology from the Bronx. If you go to My Haven Bar and Grill, Rosa Dominicana from the Bronx. If you look at Willie Colon and Alfredo, Bricks and Hops, they own Bistro as well. They're both from the Boogie Down Bronx. So support not only Bronx businesses, but Bronx businesses that are owned by Bronxites. And our diversity is amazing. So whether it doesn't matter what your palate favors, it's all here. We don't have to go to Manhattan. You don't have to go to White Plains. You don't have to pay tolls. It's all right here in the Boogie Down Bronx. Enjoy.
Why do you think this particular week could be such a boost for so many of the restaurants here?
So the reason it's because Savor the Bronx offers us that platform to all be featured on one single publication as restaurants, offering welcoming incentives for more people to come and check us out. So therefore, as a community, we come closer together as brands, as community folk, to promote the cultural richness and flavorful Bronx scene.
You know, you always put words so beautifully together, I have to say. You always have like the pitch perfect packaged quote. I want everything this man said on a t-shirt. I also wanted to ask you, since we're doing the kickoff right here at Seis Vecinos, and you know I've always shown this restaurant love, I love it here, the food here is incredible. Let me know about some of the specials you guys have going for the next few days.
So what we're offering from the 6th to the 17th of January is actually 15% off breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we actually open up the full menu. We don't offer a prefix, we just want everyone to try something different, something Central American, something Honduran, something that will, make you want to go home and maybe come back again.
So full access, total access to the menu, that's what you're saying. I can come in here, anything that I want, 15% off for the next 2 weeks.
Correct, yes.
I like it, so should you. All right, guys, so I'm here with Justin Fornal, who some of you might know as Baron Ambrosia. That's how I got to know this man right here, this dapper Don right here. You are, I would call you a culinary expert in the borough. Tell me the 1 or 2 spots that really stand out for you here in the borough.
I mean, it's an endless selection of restaurants, and even, what I've always loved about the Bronx is that it's so diverse in a culinary sense, and that a lot of the places that we have here are meant to directly feed that community. So if you have a Ghanaian restaurant, it's food for Ghanaian people. If you're at a Central American restaurant, a lot of time it's food as if they would still be having it in San Pedro Sula. So what's most amazing about the Bronx is you can come here and get the genuine experience. You're not getting watered down food that's created for tourists. So that's what's always been really what I love about the borough in terms of the food. And a lot of the times you're going to places that are affordable because they're set up to serve a local community. And they've got to be better than the food that those folks would cook at home. So it's like, you're getting grandma's food at a restaurant down the street, and it's inexpensive. So that, to me, is the true joy of eating in the Bronx. But I was really happy Nirab reopened, which is a great Bangladeshi place in Parkchester. I go into Xochimilco, immediately I get a big michelada, I get a big plate of just barbacoa de chivo, and a big bowl of pico de gallo, very spicy. And that's like my diet food. It's like, I'll go do a big workout, and I'll just go crush a big plate of goat. Ali's Roti, up in the North Bronx is a spot I always hit up. And even Sundial is a place that makes a lot of not just food, but makes tonics. These root tonics that are almost like food as medicine. So it's endless the amount of places throughout the borough that I love to go to and hang out. And it's like a big backyard. It's like the Bronx is like one big fun neighborhood full of all different kinds of people, all different kinds of food. So if you haven't come here and gotten to really explore it, it's something you need to do.
Well, there you go. So I wanted to ask you, do you often find it a little bit difficult to get people outside of the borough to come into the borough? And do you have to sort of lure them in with how delicious the food is here?
I mean, people come to me because they want to go to the Bronx. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask that too. People come to me like, can you take me to the Bronx? So I've never felt the need that the Bronx should play to anyone. And I feel like I've seen that in years past when I was more involved with the borough. There was this idea of, even when articles would be done about the borough, it was done as kind of a, hey, did you know? And it's like, the Bronx doesn't need to play to anyone. The Bronx doesn't need to kiss anyone. The Bronx doesn't need to say, hey everybody, look what we're doing. Give us a pat on the head, that. Like, if you want to come out, it's here. The Bronx is here, but the Bronx doesn't need people to come here and pander at all, because the Bronx is mighty and strong and full of flavor and funk,
You heard it here, guys. No kissers in the Bronx. Enjoy the food. That wraps up our visit here to Seis Vecinos, where we're kicking off Savor the Bronx, happening January 6th to January 17th. Make sure you visit ilovethebronx.com for much more information. And that's it. Now I have to eat all this delicious food that they displayed for everybody else, but really, it's for me.